Sure glad I'm not in her shoes right now.
Joyce, do you have any idea at all why your husband would try to force you out of the prison?
No, I don't, Mrs. Davidson.
He went to great pains to set it up. There must have been a reason.
Maybe he missed me, wanted me back home.
Come on now, Martin. You're no Helen of Troy.
And what about you, Joyce? Don't you want to be back home?
They got all the gin on me. Be picked up again in no time, then I'd really be stuck in here.
Oh, come on, Martin. What's the real reason?
Did you have any idea your husband would attempt such a thing?
No. Yeah, well, he did threaten to come back and get me out, but I didn't believe him.
Yeah, but why? Why does he want you out of here?
I don't know.
Well, if we can't find a reason for kidnapping, then we must presume it was an attempted escape.
Oh, bleeding hell it was.
You know the penalties for attempted escape, don't you, Martin?
It was his idea, not mine. You can't get me for that.
Harry Martin came to see you twice on the same day, is that correct?
Yes.
Well, I suggest the first time was to arrange the time and place of an escape. The second was to put it into action.
That's not true.
You're lying, Martin.
I had nothing to do with an escape.
Then prove it, Joyce. Tell us why your husband should want to kidnap you.
I tell you, I don't know why.
He pulled a job, didn't he?
No.
He's been in and out of the clink for years for robbery.
So what?
Well, that's his style, isn't it? Armed robbery.
That's got nothing to do with me.
Oh, yes, it has. He pulled a big one. And this time the only mistake he made was you. Somehow you got hold of the money and started spending it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't you? I've got your charge sheet here. It reads, sentenced to 6 months for receiving stolen goods, accessory after the fact of an armed robbery. Still don't know what I'm talking about?
That doesn't mean anything.
You've got something on your husband, haven't you, Joyce?
No.
Somehow you've stashed the money away and you won't tell him where it is. So he figures he's going to spring you out of here and then bash it out of you.
No, I keep telling you I don't know anything about it. Now, why don't you just leave me alone?
That'll be all, Mr. Fletcher. Miss Bennet, take Martin back to her cell.
Oh, but Mrs. Davidson, we're just beginning...
Do as I say, Miss Bennet.
We nearly cracked her. I reckon another go in an hour's time and she'll be spilling the lot.
There's no need for that sort of technique here, Mr. Fletcher. This is a women's prison, not a concentration camp.
You've already had one visit today. Regulations say one a week.
Yeah, well, I thought they might be bent a little. For a friend.
They're better off without you, so go away and leave us alone.
There's no need for that sort of technique here, Mr. Fletcher. This is a women's prison, not a concentration camp.
Oh, the bloody noise. And the flies. Didn't think I'd ever get out of there. Jim? You all right?
Mr. Fletcher? Are you all right?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. A woman's work's never done, eh?
You should be highly commended for your handling of the Martin woman, Jim. I thoroughly agreed with your methods. You know something? I think you and I would make a great team together.
Why do you say that?
We're both tough. We've both got similar ideas on prison discipline, and the women know exactly who's in charge when you're around. Take Mrs. Davidson. She's too soft with them. Well, the women don't respect that. They see it as a sign of weakness. That's why we've got so much chaos here. What they really need is discipline. That's what they respect. You could really go places, Jim. In fact, you could be governor if you put your mind to it.
I've only two things to say to you, Miss Bennet. Mrs. Davidson has a very tough job here. Now, I may not always agree with her, but I think she handles the women admirably. And secondly, the methods I used on Martin this afternoon gave me no particular pleasure. I hope I never have to have a session like that in here again.
Ah, Charles, I see you've been keeping my seat warm. You should have joined us for lunch. The food was great.
I had too much work to do.
It's a pity. She's a lovely girl.
By my calculations, you've had a 3.5-hour lunch.
Yes, well, we had a lot to talk about. You know something, Charles? I almost married that girl.
Steve, I want to dissolve the partnership.
You want to what?
I'm tired. I've had enough.
But why?
I've been carrying you for months. You haven't contributed your full share, so I found someone else.
Come on, Charles. Look, I know we've been through a few rough patches, but business is hardly on the rocks.
If you checked with our accountants, you'd find that we're steadily moving into debt.
But that's impossible. The money must be rolling, and I seem to have been overloaded with work recently.
Here's most of it for bloody prisoners. A bunch of ragged women all seeking free legal advice, and you get caught up in it. I don't know. You used to be a whole lot smarter, Steve. You really surprise me.
How's the big romance?
What big romance?
Sunshine Steve Wilson.
Oh, him.
Oh, him? I thought you said you'd marry him if he asked you.
Well, I changed my mind. It wouldn't have worked anyway.
What happened? Another woman? Well, I think you should get out there and fight for him. He's worth it, isn't he?
He's very ambitious, Bea. He's on the way up. The last thing he'd need round his neck is a woman who's been in prison. Well, Stavros wouldn't marry Irene because she'd been in here. In a way, I can understand both their points of view.
Ah, yeah. Oh, well, not to worry. Plenty more where he came from.
Maybe.
You and Greg Miller had a thing going, didn't you?
Oh, that was years ago. Anyway, he's involved with Meg Jackson. Haven't you told me that often enough?
Ah, that. Just a passing fling. She's too old for him. She'll give him up, you'll see.
No, it's all over with Greg anyway, Bea. And with Steve.
You know, it must be tough. You're young and you're pretty, but you're in the nick. And there are all those dressed-up dolls on the outside. That bloody chance you've got.
Now, your taste in drinks has changed. Bourbon and Coke used to be the order of the day. If I remember correctly.
You do. But I'm older now and wiser.
And more stunning than ever.
So what do you say? Am I stunning enough to take you out to dinner?
No. Oh, it's a matter of principle. I never let a beautiful woman foot the bill. However, I will take you out to dinner.
I see. The beautiful woman pays later. Is that the idea?
Well, that depends on the beautiful woman.
Seriously, Steve, it's my shout. You paid for lunch.
No, and I'll pay for dinner, too.
We'll go Dutch.
Like in the old days?
Remember the little spaghetti cafe?
Memories redolent of garlic, eh?
I wonder if it's still there.
Yes, it is.
My God, that's going back a bit. I remember when you first took me there.
Now, wait a minute. I thought you introduced me to it.
No, it was the other way round. I remember it distinctly. I'd been waiting for ages for you to ask me out, and then suddenly, I think we were having an argument about women's rights or something. Suddenly, right in the middle of it, you said, let's go eat some spaghetti. It was so romantic, I could have married you on the spot.
I wish I'd known
What?
that you'd have married me then. I was very much in love with you.
I know.
They put a lot of pressure on you, didn't they? That formidable family of yours.
It wasn't only my family, Steve. There were other reasons.
We'd have been good together.
I know that. Now. But I was determined to have a career. You wanted me to be a housewife.
Come on. That isn't true.
Oh, it is, you know. And it would have happened anyway in time. You were the brilliant one, Steve. My career would have had to eventually give way to yours.
Yes, well, I may have been the brilliant one, but I was also working class. And your family thought that was a rather repulsive combination.
Don't put it like that, Steve.
Well, your father thought that I was a working class upstart.
He did not. That's not true.
He believed that I was using you to edge my way into his firm.
This is precisely the same argument that we had years and years ago. You still won't believe it was entirely my own decision, will you? Oh, Look, let's not quarrel, Steve.
I'm sorry. It's just that I've had a rather depressing day. I didn't mean to take it out on you.
What's troubling you?